this is actually Vinicum Street, which, as you can see, is a stopped up street that actually leads on to Byres Road, which is a very important, famous high street in the West End of Glasgow. It's near Glasgow University, it's near the Botanic Gardens, it's considered very wealthy in terms of its culture. But as you can see, it was just a stopped up street that was full of cars. And actually, this project is interesting, I think, because it's demonstrating you don't always need to make a big move to have a big influence in the role that this space plays in the community. And this was actually a community-led design. And that raises some challenges. And I think it's pertinent to some of the things that maybe the bids will be facing and worthy of further discussion. But Glasgow City Council had offered money to fund a scheme in this particular area, which the local community group, which is called BRIG, Byres Road Improvement Group, had been successful in obtaining. But of course, the problem was that was only the start of their journey, because they didn't have the capacity to deliver this or develop anything. And we had to then go out, and this became a community-led public realm scheme. Can we maybe just have a look at the other one, about how we transformed? Yeah. So there's the physical environment that you have to transform. And there was a lot of engagement, online discussion with the local community about how they saw this space developing. That in itself is a challenge, because being a public space, there were a lot of people who felt they were the community. There was the residential community. You can see the traditional tenement blocks in the background. There was the business community. You can see some of the adjacent pubs and restaurants. There was the tourists, the students. Everyone felt this was theirs. And obviously it was about managing the fear of change. But we listened and we talked to people, and the reason we had to have a slightly weird alignment with one bollard between the planters is because, as with all projects, there was a service substation just off the photography on the right-hand side, so we had to maintain full access to that all the time. But we didn't have any other access. We were able to close this off and create this as a space. Now, the community had said they wanted to have more events, and they wanted to have a space where they could have events. They didn't want a soft space, and this is really what happened, because this is what they did. So the point I was making is that successful places are places that are used, so we don't always have to stuff them full of things. But what happened here was a true collaborative engagement process and working through the design process, and the bid were very much part of this. So some of the events that they are organising are clearly run by the bid. The good news looking back is that since this was completed 5 years ago, we now have some of the former derelict buildings have actually been taken over, and we've got restaurants, and one is just applying for a Michelin star. So it's actually a demonstration that these things can work.